On this episode of Road Trip Masters, I cruise into a town that is located on the west branch of the mighty Susquehanna River and visit a company that was founded by two middle school teachers. We'll smash up some burgers.
Just your style?
It's just a style.
Go behind the scenes in a historic theater.
Classic sound. Hey, that's awesome.
And check out one of the world's leaders in the collector car auction business. So sit back, relax, and let me do the driving right here on Road Trip Masters. I'm Nick Kessler.
And I'm Brian Fulmer.
We're teachers that have a passion for travel.
Cruising the highways and byways in our 1968 drop-top caddy.
We discover the places and people that make this nation great. We are Road Trip Masters. On this week's episode, I visit the beautiful town of Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. Located in Union County, Lewisburg was founded in 1785 by Ludwig Durr. Over the centuries, this town served as an important center of commerce and played a vital role in the Underground Railroad. Lewisburg is also the home to 3,700 college students who attend Bucknell University. This 445-acre campus rises high above the west branch of the Susquehanna River and provides a picturesque setting that is perfect for the learning environment. But before I kick this episode off, the Caddy was in desperate need of having its interior replaced. Her age, the sun, and all the years of travel really put a toll on her. So I decided it was time for a complete makeover. Luckily, not too far from where I live, in the nearby town of Nazareth, PA, lies J&A Custom Interiors, an automotive upholstery shop that is second to none. That's when I handed off the keys to owner Jose, where he introduced the Caddy to her new home. Within minutes, the crew got right to work, stripping out the old seats, carpet, and whatever else was worn out over its 50-plus years of road tripping. I could have stayed there all day, but I had to get on the road to Lewisburg. I knew the 68 was in excellent hands, and Jose said he would give me a call when she was ready to ride again. Feeling a little bit naked without my ride, I finally arrived into town to the historic Lewisburg Hotel, a landmark in these parts since 1834. That's where I caught up with the owner, Dale, who gave me the lowdown on this elegantly restored gem in the heart of the downtown district. All right, Dale, here we are, Lewisburg Hotel, iconic, right on Market Street. What's the history?
The building was built in 1834. It's one of the only hotels that survived through all the years. Bucknell's first graduations were here.
Tell me, who's Norm?
Norm Buck was the original owner. He bought it back in 1995. We opened it up back in 1997 and took a little over 2 years for restorations. And Norm, unfortunately, had passed away, and his family offered it to me, and I became the owner November 1st of 2017.
How many rooms in total comprise the Lewisburg Hotel?
We have 22 rooms total. We have 16 in the motel part and 6 in the main hotel. There actually were probably 18 to 20 rooms inside the hotel. They were small. They met the minimum requirements, which was 9 by 9.
Oh, wait a minute, 9 by 9, that was the requirement?
Yes.
You do have that courtyard in the back. It's a beautiful spot. You have entertainment here too. You walk into the hotel, you have that beautiful lobby, you have the dining room, and I'm gonna say dining rooms. The fireplaces, perfectly preserved almost to what they would have been probably well over a century ago. You have an on-premise bar. That's a huge bonus.
Yes.
I love the booths. They're raised off of there. I love that center island because it increases your capacity. And being here at Bucknell, I'm sure that gets packed.
Oh, absolutely. And the people love it because you can sit across from each other.
Most famous guest to stay here.
Was Ralph Nader when he spoke at Bucknell for commencement. The other one who came and ate lunch here was Kevin Costner. We honored their privacy. The only thing I did was walked over and I said, "Are you Mr. Costner?" And he started smiling. He said yes, and I said, "Just wanted to verify it for the girls."
You have a beautiful place here. It's the prime spot. Looking forward to my stay here, and I can't wait to sit out in that courtyard and check out some entertainment. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Just a hop, skip, and a jump from the Lewisburg Hotel is Graham's, a unique eatery that puts their own special twists on some iconic dishes. Graham's, a legend, a staple in the Lewisburg community, but there's something special here.
The place Graham's, it literally came from my grandmother. My grandmother was a traveler. She loved to eat food from all over the place. So that's kind of how I cook. Everybody asks, what kind of food do you have? I don't know.
So what are we gonna be making today?
So we're gonna start with one of our signature burgers. It would be our Graham's burger. What makes the burger so special is that it is actually a house-ground brisket burger.
And that brisket separates a normal ground beef burger from a brisket burger.
Fat is king.
Yeah,
Fat is king.
yeah.
And so what we do is we actually do a Smashburger. We just get it a little bit browned off, flip it. Then I like to take a little bit of my seasoning.
What do you got in that house seasoning, Justin?
Secret. No, it's at Graham's house. You learn that quick. Paprika, salt, onion powder, garlic powder, a little bit of pepper. Simple.
I think you're the first chef ever to give it away. Thank you.
So I season on one side, and what we do is we press them down.
Nice. Almost looks like my drywall putty knife right there.
Well, that just happens to be a drywall putty knife that I got over at Kohl's Hardware next door.
It works beautifully, yeah. That's a big patty right there.
Looks are deceiving, so with the brisket burger, there is a lot of fat in it. So it actually will shrink up a bit. I'm not big on how my burger's cooked as long as it is a juicy, good tasting burger. Do I like it rare? No. Do I like it well done? No. Right in the middle is perfect for me. A little bit of sharp cheddar, a little bit American, stack them up. At this point here, the cheese just starts to melt. We actually take them off, let that burger sit there and rest, and let all those juices hold inside that.
Butter in the bun.
Butter the bun, toast it up real nice. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna plate up our Graham's burger. This is a roasted garlic aioli. Then what we top it with here is what we call, it's a burnt onion jam. So we literally take a 50-pound bag of onions, we dice them up very small, and we actually burn them. And then what we have here is we're gonna top it with our house pickles.
That sounds fantastic.
Just a little burger there for you, just a little bit of love.
Now you're plating it with some chips here.
They are actually a homemade chip that we do in-house.
Right away, I taste something sweet in this chip.
That's a little bit of those secret ingredients, you know, but it's like a house ranch blend that we put a little bit of sugar into it. They are a raw potato when we get them. We fry them every single day.
That's a phenomenal chip right there. Wow. Time to test the brisket burger. Now that's a big, juicy burger. If there isn't brisket in it, it ain't a burger. This thing is absolutely lights out, phenomenal.
Not only does Graham serve a kick butt burger, but makes slammin' tacos as well, selling up to 1,600 tacos within a 3.5-hour window on Taco Tuesday, and they knock it out of the park. A true Graham Slam.
This place is an A+. So when in Lewisburg, you gotta make sure you stop in to Graham's Eatery. Ooh. Holy Louie.
One cannot simply go to Lewisburg without stopping by the historic Campus Theater, an iconic institution that has stood ground here since 1941 and is one of the last of a dwindling number of single-screen Art Deco movie palaces in the country. I wanted to find out more about this place, and maybe, just maybe, I might get to satisfy one of my childhood curiosities and experience what it was like to be a projectionist.
All right, Scotty, here we are. Campus Theater, associated with Bucknell University, but what a gem here in Lewisburg. Can you tell us about the history?
The architect was David Sepowitz. He was known for his Art Deco style of architecture. He designed 24 of these theaters. Of the 24, there are only 5 remaining.
Now, all the murals, they're all original to the theater?
They have been heavily restored in some areas because back in the day, people were allowed to smoke in here, so you can imagine the layers of nicotine and tar that had to be removed. But yeah, they are all original.
Again, I love to use this phrase all the time on the show. We're stepping back in time, in essence.
Absolutely.
Now, there's some posters around.
The owner, Harold Stiefel, would actually draw movie posters. We're not quite sure why he did that, but that's a mystery.
But a true treasure here to the
yes,
theater.
That adds to the beauty of this theater and the specialness of it.
I was always curious, what was it like to be up in the projection booth? Can we get up there?
I'm going to hand you over to our wonderful technical director and projectionist, Andy Seal.
All right. Here we are, up in the projection booth. You can show movies digitally, but you also show them old school style.
That is correct. We have 2 projectors, so we are able to use a reel-to-reel system, which is kind of the old way that 35mm films were projected. Each reel is approximately 18 to 20 minutes long. At the end of that reel, you'll see some marks, some cues, and you'll do an automatic changeover. So it makes the film look seamless.
ready to spool a film up on the projector. Looks to be about 1.25 inches wide.
35 millimeters. You know, that's what they're talking about.
Yep, so top reel first.
Top reel first.
Now, what movie are you spooling up here, Andy?
This is The Blob from 1988, a classic.
A classic.
When I see that cue, that first cue for the motor start, I will start the motor. And by the time it's done accelerating, 7 seconds later, I'm going to see another set of cues. And those cues, I have 3/4 of a second. So you've just got to find your rhythm and do your changeover.
And we've all had that experience where the whiteout comes.
Exactly.
And people start booing.
Yes, exactly. I know. We're going to have a good show. No booze. No booze.
Oh,
So I
there's that
start the
sound.
motor. My lamp is on. I do this. And there we go. This has beautiful blues in the beginning, and to me, that's what makes emulsion film so wonderful.
Now, I'm shocked about the noise. It's like not really extremely loud, but
It's not quiet either. If I take this window out,
Yeah.
this port window, you can really hear it. But I intentionally got a museum quality glass, fairly thin, because truth be told, I like to have a little bit of that purr, a gentle reminder that it's there.
The end of the reel was near, so we went over to projector number 2 and waited for the cues to hopefully perform a seamless transition between reels. If not, the show will stop. Let's see if Andy can pull it off.
trying to see the cues. And they're going to be in the upper right-hand
You
corner.
got it. And there'll be circles. This one will be circles. There we go.
I just saw that. So now the projector goes on.
Boom, we did it.
Wait, that fast?
It was that fast.
I missed it, but the good news is Andy did, and we caught that seamless transition between the two movie reels. Unbelievable. Nice job, Andy.
Right on, thank you guys.
Andy, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for letting me kick one off the bucket list and being up here in the projection booth. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 1972, presented to
Just outside of Lewisburg and located in the nearby town of Winfield, exists a company that was started by 2 middle school science teachers. Now, being an educator myself, it was only natural that I take a little trip, drop by, and get the story on their journey from the classroom to the ski slopes. All right, Nick Gilson. So what are we out in the middle of central PA making snowboards and skis? What's the story behind that?
Yeah, you know, if you're going to manufacture here in America, I wouldn't recommend downtown Manhattan. So this region really has a lot of woodworking heritage, and there's just some extraordinary craftsmen and women here in the area that we're blessed to work with. This started actually as a school project. We were all working on our curiosity projects, and the other science teacher, Austin Royer, my now business partner, he and I brought in these prototypes that I had built when I was our student's age, and leaves something to be desired, but they got the initial concept out, brought it into school, and we got totally carried away and ended up launching the company out of the classroom with our students.
I'm excited about this segment. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do it.
Let's go. After
right.
you, my friend.
Welcome to the wood shop. It's where we go from locally grown Pennsylvania poplar trees all the way to finished wood cores ready to head into layup to become snowboards and skis. So if you see here, this is what we call a snowboard blank. This is made of a ton of different pieces of wood glued together. And then when boards are leaving this room and skis are leaving this room, they look very much like this, ready to head up into the layup and pressing process.
But before we went there, we needed the artwork for the board. That's when we stopped by the graphics department, which gives every Gilson board its signature look.
All right, so here you can see that this is now finished its sublimation process, really vibrant colors, and now ready to cool down.
Yeah, now it's sounding like a shop.
Yeah, basically this is now a glorified paperweight.
So Nick, we have a little side detour before we get to that next station.
Back in the early days, we lived in here. So
Wait, what?
Yeah, these were bunk beds. There were 2 bunk beds here as well. There was a hammock underneath. Living in this room and building the shop around us.
Talk about sacrifice, drive, and determination. It's right here at Gilson.
It's not always pretty, but it's a wild ride.
Then we headed into edging, the key ingredient that makes carving down the mountain possible.
Grab the edge here. You know, you can manipulate it how you want to. So all done by hand. I bent the first 6 edges for this company and then got promptly fired from the position. I am no good at it. Yeah, so this is where the edges line up. There's only one seam in Gilson snowboard or ski. Otherwise, it's a full wrap edge to meet right at the tail of the board.
One mistake and you got to rebind. Oh, yeah. All right, Nick, where do we go next?
We're headed into layup now, which is really where everything comes together.
I like to call it assembling the sandwich.
So we go base down, then fiberglass wood core, fiberglass top sheet, basically layering up the sandwich. And then once that is all together, it'll be very flat. And so we need to put it into the press to crank it up to pressure in the mold to give it its shape and let that epoxy cure for about 45 minutes to an hour.
After the shape was molded, the board was trimmed and ground down in order to prepare it for final waxing.
Here we wash out to the very ending process.
Basically final quality control, waxing, packaging, and shipping.
Nick, thank you so much, my friend. Really love what you have going on here at Gilson. The story is absolutely amazing, and thank you for doing what you guys do here.
Thanks for making the trip out and safe travels.
Hear it all. And I had the prep. What did I say? Okay, I got it. So, Nick, here we end.
As my trip comes to an end here in Lewisburg, I received a phone call from Jose, and he told me that the Caddy was complete. And get this, he was willing to drive it and meet me at Mecum Classic Car Auctions, which just happened to be in Harrisburg over the next couple of days. Since this was less than an hour from Lewisburg and on my way home, I was excited to see the new interior, but I was also excited to go to Mecum's and find out how I can get involved in the bidding process and perhaps come home with some merchandise.
So, Sam, Mecum Auto Auctions, what does it take to become a bidder?
Being a bidder at Mecum Auctions is easy. It's a lot easier than people think. Just go to Mecum.com and click on register to bid. If you don't do that, you can do it here on site. You walk in, visit one of the registration booths. You know, you put a number in your mind of what you're wanting to pay or what you're willing to pay. Oftentimes, people get wrapped up in the moment and sometimes pay a little bit more than they were expecting to pay. You know, and when you get a place like this that's got 1,200-1,300 cars in there, chances are you're going to find what you've been looking for since there's so many options to choose from. It's a great time. It's an experience. It's like a sporting event for automobiles.
Sam, I think there's only one thing left to do. I got to register to bid, but I don't think I'm going to bid on any cars. I don't know if the wife will like that, but I'll start nice and easy with some road art.
All set.
Thank you so much, Christine.
Wonderful time at the auction.
Thank you. There they are, baby. It's time to start bidding away.
I'm gonna get 350, 350, 350, 350, and now 400, and now 400, man, what am I gonna get for? Last call, I'm gonna get 400, 350, sold.
Yeah, I got it.
After I scored my first victory, spending money became easy. I gotta be honest, bidding was a rush, and I needed to keep the momentum up.
All right, here we go. Another dynamic here at Mecum. We're gonna get into the Scat Pack Dodge. We're gonna do some drifting. I'm a little nervous. I never drifted before. Let's go. All right, here we go. It's launch time. Oh my God. Man, I smell that rubber. Oh, you're welcome. I'm dizzy. That's rock and roll.
I could have drifted all day, but Jose called and told me he arrived, and it was time to see my baby and her new makeover.
Big reveal day today out in Harrisburg, Mecum Auto Auction. You guys did an incredible job. When I brought it to you, it was a wreck. We had duct tape on the seats, we had holes, and we had towels stuffed into the seats.
Like one of the worst projects we did, you know. The original came with vinyl and leather from factory, so we take the decision to make 100% leather.
You know, we stripped the car all the way down to the bare metal. We gave it new carpet. We re-dyed all the backs of the seats and saved everything we could, including the wood panels, which is very much original interior, with a little bit of upgrade for the future. So.
The new top, it's absolutely stunning and gorgeous. You guys made that right here on premise. We tried to order a top in, but it wasn't gonna come in. It was months and months out. So you took the old top, used the patterns, and did it yourself, right, Jose?
Yeah, I remember when I called you, I said, hey, Nick, that's impossible, get the top on time, so let's make the top.
Like I said, you look at the attention to detail, everything right down to the custom Cadillac floor mats. I think the backstory on this is absolutely incredible. You came from Columbia and established your own business, J&A Interiors, right in Nazareth, PA, bringing your talent from another country into ours. It's like the classic American dream.
You know, I'm just happy to, you know, find people like you, like Joe.
Joe helped you get started in this.
Yes. You know, we're just trying to work hard and try to do the best in every project we got, you know, like top, you know, big projects. And, you know, the whole customers, they really appreciate what I do. I'm just happy, you know, and I'm living the dream. That's all I can say.
I can't wait to drive this thing home and sit in the lap of luxury from what I had from before.
Thank you for trusting our team. I mean, I don't try the people like customers. I try the people like friends. Anytime, feel free to stop by.
Mecum was the perfect stop before the trek home, and I was thrilled to get the caddy back and enjoy this brand new interior. Throughout this road trip, I ran into some incredible people who possessed incredible skills. It's individuals like this who motivate me in exploring America one town at a time, unveiling what this nation is truly about. So buckle up and grab the wheel and get lost in an area worth discovering. Until next time, I'm Nick Kessler. Stay curious, my friends. Safe travels.